All right. Can you introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Mark Connor.
All right, Connor, where are you from?
I live here in Georgia. I've been a resident of Tucker for about 20 years.
All right. And what does your vote mean for you?
Hopefully some change. And, I'd like to see a few things change. I mean, right now we're kind of at the tail end of COVID and everything that's been happening. We've had a lot of pressures and concerns. Inflation is a big deal. I just want to come out here and exercise my right to vote and do that and just try to have a better future.
All right. And what issues do you think what issues should Georgians be most concerned about?
Yeah, I'm really concerned about the overturnment of Roe versus Wade in a few states. I don't necessarily agree with everything that Planned Parenthood does, but I think that every woman should have the right to do what they want with their body. I think that's something that we shouldn't dictate. That's a personal choice. That's one of the reasons I came out here to vote. I'm worried about inflation, and of course, I'm always worried about the economy.
All right. And what other factors might influence your vote?
Those are the big ones right now. I'm just really worried about where we're headed. I'd like to see the war over with Russia and the Ukraine be over as quickly as possible. I don't think we're doing enough, really, for that, and there's a lot of reasons for it, but I would like to really see the Ukraine get into the United Nations. The United Nations kind of squash that, and let's just move on.
All right. And what qualities or characteristics do you expect out of a governor?
Leadership. That's why we elect the governor, is to have leadership, try to make the tough choices. I think the hardest thing for a politician to say is no, right?
Yeah.
So, if we can get some leadership in that office, I think it would be great. That's really what I'm looking for.
All right. And do you expect the same characteristics out of other public servants or elected officials?
Yeah, absolutely. I think leadership is a big deal, especially if you're going to lead people and you're going to be one of these folks that we vote for. That's I think the number one thing. In trustworthiness and honesty. Yeah.
All right. And what's your current stance on the current political state? How do you feel about our current political state in America and Georgia?
We're in an interesting place. I think that Trump kind of started a populist movement. I didn't vote for Trump. I'm not a big supporter of Trump, but I like the populist movement thing that's happening right now. It's nice to kind of see a change of guard between just the Republicans and the Democrats. I started off as a Democrat, I'll be honest, and now I'm kind of more libertarian, but I do like that populist movement that's happening, because we really need to get back to that kind of thing.
All right. And do you think we're divided as a country?
Absolutely. And I think that's part of the problem. I think everybody needs to start, everybody says, you shouldn't talk about religion, you shouldn't talk about politics, but you really should, and you should listen to your friends and your family's opinion. Doesn't mean you have to agree with them, but just start a conversation, a dialogue. It's a big deal right now.
All right. And along what lines do you think we're divided?
Oh gosh, I think that there's so many issues now, and I think that a lot of folks will just pick 3 of their biggest issues that they're really concerned about and kind of focus on that instead of kind of looking at the big picture. And I think that's kind of what we need to get back to, is big picture politics. Just because you don't necessarily agree. I just voted for somebody in there that doesn't share all my views. And 2 of them are really controversial right now. But I still voted for that person because I know that those 2 other things are kind of not key to their platform.
Okay. All right. And do you believe that the 2020 election, the presidential election, was rigged or stolen or anything like that?
That's a good one. I think that both sides will always we're kind of moving into a new era in politics, and I think that no matter what, both sides are going to start preaching that. They're going to say, oh, it was stolen from us, this was happening. I don't think it was stolen, but it doesn't mean that there's not corruption. I mean, if you look under what happened with Bush Jr., a lot of the voting machines, there were major issues with some of the voting machines. DeKalb got in trouble with some of the stuff they did, the companies that ran the voting machines. So is it possible? Absolutely. Did it happen? I think it's kind of unlikely, but again, this is a brave new world as far as we're concerned with that kind of stuff. So only, we're gonna have to see how that in the future how that pans out.
Okay. And how do you feel about what happened on January 6, 2021?
That was really bad. It was probably one of the darkest days ever, I think, for our history. That comes back to leadership, really poor leadership. That's not the way Trump should have handled that at all. And it's sad that we all had to go through that. Absolutely.
All right, and I know you mentioned Roe v. Wade earlier. Do you have any more thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I can't believe that it was overturned, and it was overturned on a technicality. And I think that's one thing that really upset everybody. I don't know if that's really what people wanted, but that's kind of how they went through and they kind of pushed it through the system that way. And I think in the next 6 months to a year to 2 years, you're really going to see a lot of people come out in support of bringing it back to where it was before they overturned it, because I don't think a lot of folks are really down with that at all.
Yeah, and you did mention Ukraine as well. Any other opinions on Ukraine? So we're not doing enough?
I just wish Putin would stop trying to bring back the USSR. It's over with. It's done. And there's actually a tribe of folks there called the Rus that are native Ukrainians, and it's almost like an ethnic cleansing thing that he's doing there, and he's really trying to push these folks out. And I mean, that's wrong everywhere. It shouldn't happen. Putin, just stop it. I mean, it's over. And honestly, when this war is done, he's over too. So
yeah,
it got him really nowhere.
All right, and what's your view on Joe Biden?
I voted for Biden last time, and I'm so disappointed. I worked for the DOD, and the military withdrawal in Afghanistan was horrible. I mean, it was a botched operation. That's not how you do stuff. And it really soured me on Biden big time. And a lot of the stuff that's been put in place, just not really happy with it. Again, it's like, where's the leadership?
Okay. And would you be friends with someone who disagrees with you politically?
Absolutely. I have tons of friends who, I'm basically like a libertarian now. So I get it from both angles.
Right.
My Democratic friends go, well, you guys are never going to do anything because you're not unified enough. And all my Republican friends are like, well, that's like Republican light. That doesn't really work for us. So yeah, I've always kind of been a centrist. So I get it from my Democratic friends who are very liberal, and I get it from my parents and my Republican friends who are very conservative.
All right. And is there anything else you'd like to say?
No, that's it. Thanks so much for the interview. I appreciate it.
Thank you. It was a pleasure doing this with you.
Take care.
With this project, my goal is to understand what different people think and the reasoning behind it. Some people that are interviewed may say unfactual statements. Please, do your own research and feel free to leave a comment disputing any claim that may be false.